So I've bought what most people are describing as the ugliest G-Shock ever made, and to be honest, they're absolutely right. It's practically beyond subjective at this point. This thing is chaos. So why do I like it? So this right here is the G-Shock GA-V01 and is arguably one of G-Shock's most controversial releases to date. When images first dropped of this release, it practically broke the internet. Well, in the Casio world at least, and could not have divided opinion anymore if it tried. There's not many that truly like this. I ran a poll on our newsletter to get a feel of what you guys were thinking, and yeah, you weren't thinking a lot of this either. Even as a lifelong G-Shock fan myself and someone that wants to like every single G-Shock, I really struggled. So this model actually released as part of a 4-watch collection, including a black, a purple, a lime green, and this silver. Each colorway as crazy as the other. There's no understated version of this watch. So already you might be asking, why on earth are these even a thing? As I mentioned when these first dropped in our episode of What's New, in recent years especially, it's clear that G-Shock have tried to introduce new demographics to the brand. And creating all of these mad, wacky, shocking designs is all part of that. This is clearly a futuristic design aimed for a more younger audience, or potentially those consumers in regions the brand are looking to get more of a footprint in. For us traditional G-Shock fans, however, absolutely nothing like anything we've seen before and just damn right ludicrous. But as much as this design might seem like it, it's not without thought. Remember the rubber ball story from the birth of G-Shock? Well, these are actually designed with inspiration from that prototype that led to the first ever G-Shock. So yeah, some OG heritage there. In fact, these were actually released a few months earlier in China and arrived in some very cool exclusive packaging to reflect that very same thing. This character was swiftly nicknamed Cool Eyes, and well, you can see why. And it's not just this nod. Many G-Shock fans will also notice that there's many other references to other models within this design too. For starters, the bezel and band are integrated and meet at 9 and 3 o'clock, just like they did on the GA-V01, with 4 buttons on the outer of its case, just like you'd see on your everyday analog digital Gs. And just like on those models, these help you navigate the watch's plethora of functions, as well as ignite the back lights. The wording that you'd usually get near each button is actually on the case back, however. I would usually say to keep things minimal, but there's absolutely nothing minimal about this one, is there? Now then, the dial and everything around it. By the way, when I first saw these, I immediately thought of those little alien toys used to get in those egg capsules. You know, the ones that people would swear could make babies if you put them together? That might be very UK niche, but yeah, someone back me up in the comments, please. Anyway, so let's start with these alien eyes or cool eyes. On the left-hand side, as you look at the dial, we've got ourselves a mode indicating subdial, while on the right, you've got the day and the seconds on display by default, and this will also act as a digital display of your functions as you flick through. Sat upon this, we've got some satellite-looking hour and minute hands. This is actually where one of the most interesting bits about this watch comes in. The minute hand itself is a magnetic and shock-absorbing one. This is a feature that Casio describes as shock release hand, which refers to the minute hand being attached by a magnetic force rather than to the shaft itself, allowing the hand to shift out of position during hard impacts, but eventually return to its correct position within a few minutes. Which is pretty cool, right? I mean, I've not tested it personally, but it feels like something that would be good to see in future releases. Casio have also mentioned that this actually allows for more flexibility in styling. I'm not sure if you can get more flexible than this, but we'll see how that goes. But no, it'd be cool to see this being used in some future drops for sure. And to continue the theme of striking features, these hands point to its 3D hour markers that are in fact outside of the display glass, because why would you put them inside it? So yeah, these are actually integrated into the bezel itself and make it look like you're staring down the mouth of some sort of sci-fi villain, like an angry Demogorgon or something. And as you can hopefully see, we've got some spherical glass rounding off the design. This is mineral glass, by the way, which in theory does sound like it would be quite cool, but in practice, not so. In combination with its negative display especially, this thing is not very legible whatsoever. Like, look at that. You literally have to get the angle just right to be able to even get an attempt to read the time. Comparing this to something else the brand offers, like the GD-010 for example, is very, very much chalk and cheese. That being said, the lights on this work very well. We've got one LED for the screen and another one to light up the dial as a whole. So it can be very legible, you just need to hit the light every single time. So then, dimensions. As you can see, this thing is massive, mate. It's 49.1 millimeters in length, 58.2 millimeters in width, and is 19.6 millimeters thick. And the weight is actually quite light, all things considered, at 74 grams. I will say that this is also remarkably comfortable. I put this on and it was immediately snug. It's only when you look down again and realise what's sat on your wrist or halfway up your arm that you realise its size again. I'm obviously saying a lot of this in jest, but you get the picture. Right, functionality. In addition to the bits I've already mentioned, this watch comes absolutely stacked with all of your standard G-Shock features, including the likes of world time, stopwatch, a countdown timer, 5 daily alarms, 2 lights, one for the screen, another for the dial as I've mentioned, a calendar, the hand shift feature which I always mention is very handy, plus a whole lot more. This one also offers water resistance of up to 200 meters and most notably a 10-year battery life, just like we saw on the recent Big Case series, so that's a big win. Well, depending on how much you use the light, I suppose. Guys, are you overwhelmed? I'm overwhelmed. There's so much going on here. So then, price. These are £119 in the UK and $140 in the US, which is right around the entry level of G-Shock pricing and right where they should be, to be honest. So then, what's going on, Andrew? Why on earth do you like this? Well, I've mentioned all the reasons why not to and how this watch is not suitable for anyone, but that's kind of the point. These are meant to be outrageous and spark interest and curiosity, etc. These things had everyone talking when they first dropped and no doubt piqued a lot of interest and introduced a load more people to the brand. It's rogue, but it's certainly done the job. To be honest, there's not many brands that would offer such a variety of timepieces within their catalogue, so fair play to them, I say. A lid for every pot and all that. I've mentioned before that G-Shock get a lot of stick for repeating the same designs or making slight tweaks and calling it a new model. It's fair to say they've definitely not done that here, but no, the real reason that I've personally warmed to this is the colour, which is very surface level, but let me tell you why. Nostalgia is a big thing for me in general, but especially in my watches. I'm a bloody sucker for it, mate. And I went for this silver, this speckled silver, as I felt like it just matched the watch perfectly. Think the 90s and 2000s design. This is the era I grew up in and almost every gadget I could think of came in this color. I'm talking Tamagotchis, RIP to all of those that I failed to raise. Game Boys, specifically the Game Boy SP. By the way, does anyone remember that one that you could get with the tribal tattoos? How random was that? Techno the robotic dog as well, what an absolute legend. And yeah, for that reason, it obviously struck a chord, and while this might look like something that's come straight out of a cereal box, I kind of really like it. I'm not sure what that says about me, to be honest, but here we are. I've got one, it's here, and it's cool to have in the collection to remind me of those days of lacing up the total 90s to go and tear up the school playground. Where are you at with these? Are you loving them? Are you hating them? Let me know in the comments down below. By the way, if you want to join thousands of your fellow watch enthusiasts and stay right up to date with all of the latest watch releases, share your opinion on them on our polls, get access to the latest time drops content, sneak peeks of upcoming content, as well as access to all of our exclusive giveaways, make sure you sign up to the Time Drops newsletter below, where I personally send out an email each week giving you all of that right to your inbox. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.